Hello again, everybody. David Clary along with Fashawn Knowles here at Carson Newman College getting set for District 3 tournament action. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge taking on the Central Bobcats in the winners bracket side of the game of this tournament. As we are in the press box here, it'll sound like there's no crowd here, but we've got a decent crowd here. We have the Hall's Red Devil team sitting to our right. The Wildcats will be in their gray jerseys with Cardinal down below, and the Central Bobcats will be in their traditional red, white, and black pinstripes. Wildcats come into this game with a record of 21, 12, and 1. Central comes in at 22 and 9. The two teams split during the regular season. The Wildcats won on a walk-off 5-4 at Oak Ridge, while the Bobcats won at Tommy Shumpert Park 3-2. These two teams played last year for the District 3 championship, with Central winning the ball game. We actually lost to Central in this particular ball game 5-3. The Wildcats then lost to Central in the finals 2-0. So these two teams have a long history. If you go all the way back to the 90s, back in the days when Todd Helton and Bubba Tramble all played, uh, there was a lot of great ball games between Oak Ridge and Central. Let me run down the starting lineups in the ball game. We'll start off with the Central Bobcats. Leading things off for them will be Nick Reardon. He'll be playing shortstop for the Bobcats. Batting second will be the center fielder, Kalen Chesney. Batting third will be the third baseman, Andrew Hill. Batting fourth will be the right fielder, Drew Shaver. Batting fifth will be Milas Johnson. He'll be playing left field. The catcher will be Jack Good today for the Bobcats. Playing second base will be Samuel Myers. Pitching for the Bobcats will be Cole Wessel. The designated hitter will be Alex Grossman, and he'll be hitting for Taylor Gorba. For the Wildcats, leading things off, will be playing shortstop will be Caden Black. Also batting second will be Cam Welch, coming off of just a fine ball game the other day against the Pal Panthers, where he went the entire distance of the ball game. Batting third for the Wildcats will be the sophomore Mikey Teasley. Batting fourth will be Peyton Witter. He'll be the designated hitter today. Parker Free will be hitting fifth. Richie Ferreira will be hitting sixth. Cy Stevens, Kyron Welch, and Warren East will be playing center field. The Wildcats coached by Travis Free, assisted by Will Maddox, Jeremiah Ball, Ben Peters, and Kevin McKeithen. We are live here from Carson Newman. We were originally scheduled to play at Tommy Shumpert Park, the home of the Central Bobcats, but rain conditions overnight made playing almost impossible. And this is kind of a rehash of what happened last year at the regional tournament, when we were supposed to play at Tommy Shumpert Park, but it rained. So we came up here for the regional tournament. Central, Oak Ridge, Hardin Valley, and Farragut all coming up here to play. But this is the district tournament. The winner will play for the championship. The winner will earn a spot in the region tournament. As we're getting set for this game, I'd like to thank Jared Mullins of Mullins Construction Company. As we say each and every ball game, the TSSAA charges a $250 fee each ball game to stream, and we appreciate Jared Mullins at Mullins Construction Company for paying our rights fee. The starting lineups are being introduced. You might see down on the field if we can get a look. The Wildcats are on the first base side, Central on the third base side, and now we'll all stand for the national anthem. It's our national anthem here from Carson Newman, getting set for District 3 tournament action. The Wildcats and the Central Bobcats in the winners bracket side of things. We have one game played already today, game that was rained out basically yesterday. Halls knocked off Campbell County, so Campbell County season comes to a close. And later on today, in fact, I believe immediately following this one, I think the Halls Red Devils will play the Carnes Beavers in another elimination game. This is not an elimination ball game, as this is the winners bracket. The Wildcats victorious against Campbell County in their first ball game and knocking off Powell in their ball game this week. While I get a chance, the annual Lawrence Hahn Golf Classic is coming up on June the 8th at the beautiful Oak Ridge Country Club. This event raises money to benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Oak Ridge. Team spots are filling up quickly. There is still time to register. If you or your business would like to help sponsor this fun event, there's still time to do so. If you're interested in playing or helping sponsor, please call 865 482 4433 or email eweb@bgccy.org. Moments away from the start of this game, live from Carson Newman. Threatening skies, but hopefully we'll get through the game without any rain. It's just kind of overcast and kind of dreary, to be honest with you. But a pleasant drive up the road to this place, and it's better than, I guess, playing on a wet, soggy field, either in Central Field at Tommy Shumpert or Bobby Hopkins at Oak Ridge. So we're very appreciative of Central having the connections they have with Carson Newman to get us to come play up here. Leading things off for the Wildcats will be Caden Black. Caden coming off of a very fine ball game the other day against Powell, where he had 3 hits for the Wildcats. He is just 3 days off the disabled list. We had surgery just about a month ago on his hand, but since he's returned, he's done really well for Oak Ridge. Lefty versus lefty, and we're about to get underway. And the first pitch of the game is a called strike, and we are underway here from Carson Newman. Pitch to Caden is inside. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Just underway, scoreless game. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the first. Sean Dahl's doing our technical work today. Here in the press box, the pitch is down low, a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. As I mentioned, the two teams split during the regular season, with Oak Ridge winning 5-4 at Oak Ridge, Central winning 3-2 at Central. So 2 very close ball games. That pitch is a called strike at the knees, and we have an even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cam Welsh on deck. Here's the pitch, hit in the air, right side, fairly deep to the center fielder. Makes the call for it and makes the catch out in center for out number 1. Gonna have to get kind of used to sitting directly behind the plate here. Usually we're kind of off to the side just a bit. Cam Welch will step in. Cam had 4 RBIs against Powell the other day. The sophomore steps in. Really a fine performance on the mound against the Panthers. A complete game effort for the sophomore. The first pitch to him is a called strike at the knees on the outside half of the plate, and the count is 0-1. One strike pitch, cut on and missed. And the count is 0-2. On deck for the Wildcats will be Mikey Teasley. Typical Oak Ridge order: Teasley, Witter, Free, Ferreira, Stevens, Welch, and East will follow in Coach Free's lineup. The pitch, cut on a miss. And that is a strikeout. And that is out number 2 here in the top of the first. And here comes another sophomore, and this will be Mikey Teasley. Mikey, I remember, pitched the game at Tommy Shumpert Park, was the losing pitcher in that contest. And as I mentioned, very close game. 3-2 was the score. The pitch to him is fouled back to the screen, and the count is 0-1. I'm trying not to be obnoxious to our friends from Central who are sitting down the desk from. Don't want to be overly biased, but I am. I'm just going to tell you guys that. So are we. Okay, we're all good. 1 ball, 1 strike the count, 2 outs. Pitch to the plate, and I don't know if it kind of kipped off the glove of the catcher, and it'll be a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mikey back in, 2-1 pitch to him. He's hit in the center field hard, right at the center fielder, and he makes the catch. Couple steps back, and that's 3 up and 3 down for the Central Bobcats. We're live at Carson Newman, District 3 baseball tournament. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge taking on the Central Bobcats. Once again, I'd like to thank Jared Mullins of Mullins Construction Company, former Wildcat baseballer. He paid the rights fee for us to broadcast, $250 per game to the TSSAA, and we appreciate Jared Mullins for doing that. Alex Franklin getting ready to pitch for the Wildcats, and we'll be back with the bottom half of the first inning in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman, the Wildcats and Bobcats battling here in the District 3 tournament. After Cole Wessel's perfect top of the first inning, Alex Franklin will take the mound for the Wildcats. Defensively, for Oak Ridge, playing first base will be Camden Welch. The second baseman is Kai Welch. Shortstop is Caden Black. Mikey Teasley is at third base. Cy Stevens in left. Warren East in center. And over in right field is Richie Ferreira. Parker Free behind the plate. Alex Franklin, the senior, one of two seniors starting today. That first pitch is hit foul off to the left side and out of play. We are friends with the Central people. The best part of it, they turned on the air conditioner before we got here, and it is really, really nice in the press box. Much better than the people are sitting out and watching. That pitch comes in for a called strike on the outside half of the plate, and Franklin gets ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Nick Reardon, the batter. Breaking pitch, I believe, stays a little bit high, and the count is 1-2. It'll be Reardon, Chesney, and Hill, the schedule 3. The Bobcat lineup here in the first. 1-2 pitch. Hit on the ground. 2 hops to Kyron Welch. He feels it, flips on the first in time for out number 1. So Reardon is retired. And now the batter will be the center fielder, Kalen Chesney. Chesney steps in. He is a left-handed batter. What I remember most about him in previous games is his ability to lay down a bunt. Let's see what he can do against Alex Franklin. The first pitch is hit once again, foul off to the left and out of play. Winner of this game will play in the championship game, and that game will be on Monday. Possibly 2 games, depending on the outcome. The loser will play Sunday, as that pitch is inside and low. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Chesney bats from the left side, deep in the box, or actually close in the box, swings and he misses. That Alex Franklin delivery and pitch, and the count is 1-2. Alex hasn't had a whole lot of starts this season in district ball games for sure, coming off of shoulder surgery in the offseason. 1-2 pitch, that's up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hill on deck. Hill's had some really fine games against Oak Ridge in the past with some power and pitching as that pitch is cut on and missed. And Alex Franklin has his first strikeout of the ball game. That is out number 2 here in the first. And the batter now, as I mentioned, will be the third baseman, Andrew Hill. Like I said, I've seen Andrew. Seems like he's been playing for like 10 years for Central. Been a main part of their baseball team over the years. Has had some good success against the Wildcats. Franklin has the sign from free in the pitch. That's outside. That's where Parker had set up outside the zone, and the count is 1-0. 1-0 pitch, breaking pitch hit in the air to right center field. Over for it will come the center fielder Warren East, and the freshman makes the catch for out number 3. So 3 up and 3 down for both pitchers. We go to the top of the second here at Carson Newman. The Wildcats and Bobcats are scoreless. Thank you, Jared Mullins of Mullins Construction Company, for paying our rights fee. We appreciate that, or we would not be on the air. We also would like to thank Donnie Sharp with East Tennessee Spine and Sport. He paid the rights fee for the Campbell County ball game. And Lynn Hart of Okie Sports Grill paying the rights fee for the Powell ball game. But Jared Mullins is the guy today here at Carson Newman. We'll take a break. We'll be back for the top of the second inning. For the Wildcats, it'll be Witter, Free, and Ferreira, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman, Oak Ridge, and Central District 3 Tournament Winners Bracket ball game. The winner plays for the championship on Monday. The loser has to drop down in the losers bracket. They still have an opportunity to play in the championship, but much easier to win this ball game as Peyton Witter leads things off for the Wildcats, and he takes one down low. Peyton is a junior for the Wildcats. Cole Wessel on the hill for the Bobcats. The lefty comes to the plate. That's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Parker Free, freshman, on deck for the Wildcats. Peyton back in. The pitch to him hit foul. Back to the screen. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Russell's working quickly. That one's up high. 3 balls and 1 strike. Neither team with a base runner to this point. We're in the top of the second. Live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. The pitch, that's way outside, and that's ball 4. That's a good start for the Wildcats. A leadoff walk to Peyton Witter, and the batter will be the freshman catcher, Parker Free. Parker failed to reach base in the Powell ball game the other day. Good solid hitter, hitting in the number 5 spot for the head coach, who happens to be his dad, Travis Free. Peyton with average speed at first. The pitch outside. Wessel's just a little bit off out of the strike zone, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Richie Ferreira, the right fielder, is on deck for Oak Ridge. Cole works from the third base side of the rubber. The pitch is, well, looked outside, but called a strike, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Jake Good is the catcher for the Bobcats. Behind the plate is Parker. Steps back in. 1 ball, 1 strike to him. Throw over to first, and Peyton, barely off the bag with his 6-foot frame, was easily back to the bag safely. And the count remains at 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch. Hit in the air, foul. Over towards the stands to our right, over towards the football field, and out of play. And Parker behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Parker, one of 2 freshmen starting today. Peyton fakes a go and actually looked like he was leaning a little bit towards second. And they threw over and he got back to the bag safely. Once again, the pitch hit foul again. Off to the right side, just barely missing. Richie, his life passed in front of his eyes as the ball was whizzing past him. Actually, he didn't even flinch. The people behind the net did, but Richie, who was out in front, did not. Witter takes his lead off of first. No outs. Top of the second, scoreless game. Once again, a throw over to first, and Peyton easily back to the bag. Very cloudy skies. I remember last year at the region, it was so sunny and hot the entire game. We had to play 2 games as the pitch comes inside, and the count is even again, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That day up here, we played Farragut and Hardin Valley on the same day, losing both games. Of course, those 2 teams eventually played for the state championship. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch fouled again. Good battle here by Parker Free. He and Wessel going at it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The good news for both of these 2 teams, they don't have to play today. You can look up in the stands. Halls is here. They'll have to play. That pitch is hit in the air. Left side, shallow. The left fielder back. The shortstop in. It'll be the left fielder making the catch for the Bobcats. That is Miles Johnson, and that is out number 1 here in the second inning. Richie bats from the left side, one of 3 left-handed batters in the Wildcat lineup facing the left-handed thrower for the Bobcats. Kind of unusual, I guess, with a lefty on the mound. Peyton with average speed. Usually Coach Free has the runners going much earlier than this as Richie takes a strike. No balls and 1 strike. But with the lefty on the mound, just being cautious. Cy Stevens is on deck for the Wildcats. Throw over to first, and he crawls back to the bag. He really hasn't taken that big of a lead at all, but Central very much aware that Oak Ridge likes to run, keeping them close. 1 strike the count. Pitch. Hit in the air, foul. Off to the left, and Ferreira behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. This part of the order struggled against Powell. The top half and the lower 2 did the most damage against the Panthers in the win the other night over at Powell. The 9-3 victory over the Panthers. Peyton looks like he might go. Nope. Pitch to Richie's hit foul. Back to the screen once again. I was kidding Vashon during the break that he hasn't really had to move the camera much. Everything's kind of been right up the middle. Hasn't been a whole lot of action. But we're only in the second inning. Peyton still a good lead, leaning towards second. Comes to the plate. That's up high. And the count is 1-2. Pitch. Down low. And the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, you might recall, Central beat Oak Ridge twice during the district tournament. A 5-3 loss at, and then a 2-0 win by the Bobcats in the championship. Here's the pitch to Richie, hit foul. Off actually in fair territory. He's going to be made the catch. I thought he was going to be fouled just by the way Richie looked at it. It stayed in fair territory, and that is out number 2. My apologies. The way Richie reacted, I thought he was just going to go foul, but that's out number 2. Witter staying put at first base, and the batter now will be Cy Stevens. Cy had a rough one against Powell. Very capable junior. A lot of power for the Wildcats. 8 career home runs to his credit. That pitch is up high, a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Senior Kyron Welch is on deck for the Wildcats. Only base runner we've seen so far is Peyton Witter, and he's still at first. He led off the inning with a walk. Draws yet another throw. Pitch, cut on and missed. And a foul tip maybe into the mitt. The count is even at 1-1 Shaver, Johnson, and Good, the scheduled three in the bottom half of this inning. Cy trying to extend the top half. The pitch to him is hit in the air once again, this time to right field, but now the center fielder calls for it and makes the catch for out number 3. So, 2 fly ball outs, and the Wildcats are done in the second. We go to the bottom of the second inning here at Carson Newman College on their campus, their beautiful facility right behind their beautiful football field. The Wildcats and Bobcats are scoreless. We'll be back to Carson Newman in a moment. Welcome back to Carson Newman. David Cleary along with Vashawn Knowles broadcasting the District 3 tournament winners bracket ball game. Wildcats, Alex Franklin beginning his second inning of work. He retired the Bobcats in order. In the first, he'll be facing Shaver, Johnson, and Good. Here in the second, Shaver is the right fielder for the Bobcats. And Franklin comes to the plate, low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Boys Club asked me to read this, and I'll do it again. The annual Lawrence Hahn Golf Classic is coming up on June the 8th at the beautiful Oak Ridge Country Club. I'll try to do it in between pitches. 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Oh, we called a strike. Looked like it was in the left-handed batter's box, but he called a strike, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. This event raises money to benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Oak Ridge. Here's a 1-1 pitch. That's low. Team spots are filling up quickly. There is still time to register. If you or your business would like to help sponsor this fun event, there is still time to do so. And I'll get the last paragraph in a moment. 2 balls and 1 strike. That's down low. Ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. If you're interested in playing or helping sponsor, please call 865-482-4433. 3-1 pitch. There's a called strike. And the count is full. Nobody on, nobody out. Second inning, scoreless game. Shaver, the pitch, hit hard to the shortstop, Caden Black, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Hard hit ball, but right to the All-State shortstop, Caden Black. And the batter now will be the left fielder, Miles Johnson. Bobcats wearing pinstripes. I don't know if you can tell on the camera. We're going through glass and the netting, but they are black pinstripes along with their red lettering. Wildcats wearing their grays with Cardinal. Franklin, the senior. 4 up and 4 down. That breaking pitch hit right back to him. Should be an easy play. Underhands it over to Camden Welch, and that is out number 2. Better now will be the catcher, Jack Good. So far, so good for Alex Franklin. 5 up and 5 down. And the catcher will step in for the Bobcats. He bats from the left side. Alex had some serious shoulder surgery in the offseason. As I mentioned, he hasn't pitched as much as we probably would have expected him to uh, if he had not had the surgery or the injury. But he's done well when he's been in there, and he throws a strike, and the count is 0-1. One strike pitch. Breaking pitch stays up high and outside, and the count is even. Samuel Myers is on deck for the Bobcats, but there are 2 outs. Pitch outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm trying my best to keep Bashan awake. There hasn't been a whole lot of action in this one, and it's very nice and cool and comfortable in the press box as well. 2 balls, 1 strike. I can start yelling, Bashan, if you want me to, as that pitch is hit foul down the left field side over the top of the tarp, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'm probably the oldest person in this booth right now. I remember the days of the Central Bobcats of the 1990s as that pitch stays up high. I don't know. I tried to call myself the oldest person in here, and then I got debunked on the left side of me. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Franklin comes. The pitch is hit hard to Cam Welch. Oh, nice play. Great scoop by the sophomore first baseman, and that is out number 3. 2 hard hit balls in the bottom half of the second inning, both resulting in outs. We go to the top of the third here at Carson Newman, live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate you watching our broadcast wherever you might be, and we'd like to know who you are. If you're available to look at the chat, drop your name in and where you're viewing our broadcast from, and we'll get you on the air if you want to be mentioned on the air. We go to the top of the third inning. The Wildcats will send to the plate Welch, East, and back to the top of the order. We'll be back on YouTube in a moment. Welcome back to Carson Newman. We go to the top of the third inning in this winner's bracket ball game between 2 very good baseball programs, the Wildcats of Oak Ridge and the Central Bobcats. Appreciate Cindy Maples watching the broadcast, Ricky Jones watching our broadcast. I'm not going to mention his comment. It was appropriate, but probably not appropriate here. There's Coach Joe Gaddis outside our booth. We also have, looks like, Coach Mike Kelly watching our broadcast, along with about 150 others currently. And leading things off for the Wildcats will be Kyron Welch. Kyron playing second base today. The pitch to him is outside a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Home plate umpire looks like the same guy we had at Powell the other day. That pitch is up high. 2 balls and no strikes. And of course, my mom is watching too. So, hi, Mom. Watching our broadcast. Coach Todd Wright, assistant coach of the Lady Wildcat team, watching. That pitch is a called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Sean, it doesn't matter how old you get, your mom is always going to follow you and you'll always be your number 1 supporters. That ball is hit in the air on the infield. It'll be the shortstop over to make the play for out number 1 here in the third inning. It's been a pitcher's duel to this point. The Wildcats' Alex Franklin has faced the minimum. Cole Wessels has pitched well as he's only given up 1 walk. And the batter now will be the freshman Warren East. Warren walked a couple times against Powell, scored some runs. That pitch is down low to him. And the count is 1-0. One out. Caden Black on deck. Caden flew out to center his first plate appearance. Cole to the plate. That one's up high. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 pitch. Outside corner at the belt. And the count is 2-1. There's very limited seating available at this park, which is that ball's hit well to left. Back on it, the left fielder. He looks up. That ball is out of here. Warren East, the freshman, gives Oak Ridge a 1-0 lead. The ball just kept going and going, and the freshman has a home run, and the Wildcats take a 1-0 lead over the Central Bobcats. It shocks me every time I see Warren because he's a freshman. He's just not very big, but that's, I believe, his 4th home run of the season. And the Wildcats have a 1-0 lead over the Central Bobcats. To the top of the order we go now to Caden Black. Black, as I mentioned, flew out to center field in the first inning, had 3 hits against Powell the other day. Wessel comes to the plate. He squares the bunt, but takes one up high. I remember a big dramatic home run that Warren hit against Bearden earlier this year. Pitch, that's high again. Cole might be a little bit bothered by that home run. He's thrown 2 outside and high in the strike zone. And Black's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. High and inside, 3 balls and no strikes. Little short visit about to take place between Central coach and the battery. And the Wildcats have a 1-0 lead. That's the first hit of the ball game, and it goes yard over the big green monster in left field. Barely stayed fair. I thought at first when he hit it, it might go foul. Just barely cleared the fence. They don't have the distances on the outfield wall. I don't know how far that was. It looks like a short porch, to be honest with you, in left field, but the wall is high, and Warren was able to get the ball over it as the number 9 hitter gives Oak Ridge the 1-0 lead. Black with good speed, would love to get on base. All-time leading stolen base man at Oak Ridge High School. As that pitch is up high, and he does. That is ball 4. So with 1 out, the Wildcats have speed on the base paths, and the batter will be Cam Welch. Cam had 4 RBIs in the Powell ball game, was on base 3 times, and pitched a complete game. Can't do much better than he did at Powell. Coach Free flashes the sign for Sean. I know you're a young guy, but in the old days, the coaches at third used to do all these kind of weird hand signals to signal into the batters. Now they just yell out numbers and they look at a wristband. In the old days, I miss those. As Caden not going on the first pitch, and the ball does get away and down the second. I'm telling you, Cole's been rattled a bit since that home run. He hasn't been able to get the strike zone. That's 5 straight out of the strike zone. And now the Wildcats have another runner in scoring position with 1 out. Mike Sheehan watching us as well on our YouTube channel. We expected probably a bigger audience today. We usually get anywhere from 600 to 1,000 views of the broadcast, but a little bit of a far trip for some to make it. 1 ball, no strikes. The sign, checking the runner back at second. And the pitch to the plate, that's outside corner for a called strike, and that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Sophomore Cam Welch back in. Big burly left-hander. The pitch to him is hit in the air on the infield. In foul territory, third baseman Hill makes the catch for out number 2. And the batter now will be the Wildcat sophomore third baseman Mikey Teasley. Mikey in the first inning flew out to center field. Bats here with a runner in scoring position. We've only seen one hit in the ball game. That came this inning. Both pitchers have pitched well. Wessel has the sign. Caden's going to third. Here's the throw. It's high. And in there with a stolen base is Caden Black. So the Wildcats have a runner at third. One ball, no strikes to count to Mikey. Wessel comes to the plate. That's a called strike at the belt. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Caden a short lead off of third. The pitch. Up high, a ball. A good stop by the catcher. Wild pitch. Pass ball. Caden will probably come home. There's not a whole lot of foul territory. It's kind of like Carnes, kind of similar to that. Maybe a little similar to Shumpert, I guess, as that pitch is hit foul or actually off his batter, and he's going to get a base hit. He never should have ever fielded that ball. That ball was going to bounce foul. If he does not field that, I think the ball goes foul, and Caden Black scores, and that is an infield single for Mikey Teasley, and the Wildcats have a 2-0 lead. Peyton Witter, the batter, he was the first base runner to reach base today. He had a walk to open up the second inning. Teasley with good speed will take his lead off of first. 2 runs in. The Wildcats on top 2-0 as we play here in the top of the third. Oh, he was leaning towards second, but Mikey gets back to the bag safely. Will Maddox, the first base coach of the Wildcats, former Tennessee baseballer, the head coach of the Wildcats in the third base coaching box. That's Travis Free. They relegate Ben Peters, Kevin McKeithen, and Jeremiah Ball to the dugout. Pitch. Mikey's going. Here's the throw down. Good throw, and he is going to be out. So Teasley is caught stealing, but the Wildcats have a productive third inning. The Wildcats put 2 on the board, a home run by Warren East, an RBI infield single by Mikey Teasley, and Caden Black scores the second run of the inning. 2-0 Oak Ridge. We are live here at Carson Newman Winners Bracket Ball Game. The winner advances to the region baseball tournament and the championship ball game on Monday. 2-0 Wildcats. We'll be back to Carson Newman in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman College, University, I guess it is now. The Wildcats enjoy a 2-0 lead early. The bottom third of the Bobcat order due up. It'll be Samuel Myers, Cole Wessel, and Alex Grossman, the scheduled hitters in the Bobcat lineup. Pitch is a called strike. He likes that outside. From my vantage point, and I'm on the right side, it looks like it's in the left-handed batter's box, but he called it a strike, and the count is 0-1. Wildcat infield is in at the corners. There's a called strike right across the heart at the knees, and the count is 0-2 to Samuel Myers, the second baseman for the Bobcats. Alex Franklin, his third inning of work. The pitch hit on the line on a one hop, actually, to Kyron Welch. He throws on the first, and that is out number 1 here in the third inning. Cole Wessel, the pitcher, the batter now, hitting in the number 8 spot. Parker with a sign, the pitch. That's outside and low. Pitch, cut on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good to see Coach Gaddis in attendance. He's a diehard baseball fan. Most people don't know that. Diehard Yankee fan as that pitch is fouled at the plate, and the count is 1-2. The winner of this game advances to the region tournament and the championship game on Monday. The loser still playing. Neither one of these two teams have lost a game in the tournament. The 2-strike pitch, outside corner. He's called that all day. I don't think that was a strike, but it is strike 3, and down goes Cole Wessel for the second out of the inning. Batter now will be the designated hitter, Alex Grossman, hitting in the number 9 spot. Leadoff man Nick Reardon is on deck, but as I mentioned, there are 2 outs. Thinking back to Alex's best game, I believe it was the ball game we played the North Carolina team up in Johnson City. As that pitch stays up high, 1 ball and no strikes. He kind of ran out of gas in about the 5th inning, but he pitched well in Johnson City. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch inside. He doesn't call the inside corner. He's the outside guy. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Parker with a sign, 2-0 pitch. That stays up high. 3 balls and no strikes. He doesn't want to walk him here because Reardon's a good hitter, good solid young player for the Central Bobcats. 3-0 pitch. Outside corner. He's going to call that. Typically on a 3-0 count, you're going to get the strike if it's anywhere close. But that one, he likes it out there. The umpire does, as I said. 3 balls and 1 strike. Ball's hit to center field. Warren East lets it drop in front of him. And that is a solid single in the first hit of the ball game for the Central Bobcats. I could tell Alex kind of took something off of that, just trying to throw a strike. And the batter now will be Nick Reardon. Nick grounded out to Kyron Welch to lead off the ball game for the Bobcats in the bottom half of the first. He bats with 2 outs, and he represents the tying run for the Bobcats. Franklin checks the runner. Pitch, breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Reardon back in. Good lead at first. Pitch is outside. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, I did win the prize for the oldest person in the press box. I don't know if that gives me by a few months, actually. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cut on a missed, and the count is 1-2. The big battle is between the 2 guys to my left, closest to me, who is the youngest in the press box. That is the. How old are you? 23. Rashawn, you've got the prize. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch. The timeout was asked for. 2 outs. Jeff, I don't know if that's a prize I want to win, being the oldest. I've seen a 1 ball, 2 strikes. I have seen a lot of Oak Ridge Central baseball games in my time. Bubba Trammell, Chris Freeman, Todd Helton, of course, back in the day. That pitch is hit well to right. Down the line, Richie Ferreira gives it a look. It's going to bounce in front of him. He's going to get the ball in pretty quick. The stop sign goes up, and the Bobcats will have the tying runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Solid double there by Reardon as Kalen Chesney stands in. Kalen was a strikeout victim back in the first, sporting a very bright green bat. Tying runners on for the Bobcats. Alex Franklin, his first inning where he's gotten in any kind of trouble, a single and a double. The Wildcats on top 2-0. Base hit means probably a tie game as Franklin tries to retire Chesney. He's a good bunter. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. It's 2 outs. We'll see. I've seen him lay it down before. Teasley's even with the bag at third. Cam right on the grass at first. The pitch hit in the air to right field. Richie Ferreira back on it. Should make the play. He's under it. He does. And that is out number 3. The Bobcats pick up a couple base runners. They leave them stranded. We go to the top of the 4th inning in this District 3 tournament ball game from Carson Newman College, Carson Newman University. The Wildcats on top 2-0, and we'll be back to Carson Newman in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman, District 3 tournament. The Wildcats on top 2-0. Leading things off for the Wildcats will be Peyton Witter. Peyton was batting when Mikey was thrown out to end the 3rd inning. Good job by Alex Franklin to get out of a mess in the 3rd. Pitch to Peyton is on the outside corner. I'm telling you, that is not a strike, but he has called it consistently, and that's all you can ask for as a batter. No balls and 1 strike. Peyton back in the pitch. Hit foul back to the screen. Happy birthday wishes go out to one of our viewers today, Becky Hayes, who's watching the ball game. We appreciate Ryan Hillis and Robert Reinhardt and Jason Blanton watching our broadcast today on YouTube. No balls and 2 strikes to Peyton Witter. 0-2 pitch, hit softly right side and out of play, just barely up the hill. Good effort by the first baseman, but there's a little slight rise, as you can see, and it's fenced off. And I would assume that is still in play, but good effort by the first baseman, just couldn't quite go up the hill to get to it, and the count remains at 0-2. Wessel to the plate. That's up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wessel has the sign. The lefty comes to the plate. Hit again, foul. Off the netting to our right. It's getting a little brighter. Still a lot of cloud cover, but it is getting brighter at Carson Newman. Uh, I'm looking and I do not see lights in this facility, which is kind of interesting. Pitch to Peyton is outside, a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Beautiful football facility, and Carson Newman's had a really good tradition of baseball. 2-2 pitch, hit right up the middle. That's a solid base hit for Peyton Witter. Hit it right back where it came from, right over Wilsell's head, and that's another good start for the Wildcats. He led off the second inning getting on base, but was stranded. That is a base hit for the Wildcat junior. And let's see, the Wildcats are going to get a runner into the ball game. Looks like Noah Wood. Noah Wood is going to be running for Peyton. A little more speed there as the freshman Parker Free steps in. Parker flew out to left field, his first plate appearance. Noah's another one of those freshman Wildcats. We got a freshman at first, a freshman batting. Pitch, he squares to bunt and throws back, and Noah retreats back to the bag. Parker made a stab at it, and I think, let's see if he called it a strike. I'm assuming he did. Might have even fouled it, and the count is 0-1. I don't believe there is an out in this inning. Thank you. 1 strike the count. Parker Free, catcher. He's played some second this year. He's hit various places in the order. He is squared to bunt again. Pulls back the back and hits the ball in the hole, a base hit. The Wildcats back-to-back hits, and Noah Wood will be the base runner at second. He pulled the ball back and hit in the vacated hole. The shortstop was kind of cheating over towards second base and perfectly placed, and that is another single for the Wildcats, and that's back-to-back hits, and the batter now will be Richie Ferreira. Richie flew out to right, his first plate appearance. Four hits now in the ball game for the Wildcats. Playing in front of the runner at first, even with the bag at third. Pitch, squares to bunt, takes the ball. Does Richie? Wildcats have another courtesy runner in the ball game. That is Izzy Mitchell. Izzy comes in to run for the catcher. 2-0 Wildcats. We're in the fourth inning. Wildcats 2 on, nobody out. Cole has the sign and the 1-0 pitch. Squares to bunt, takes it high again. 2 balls and no strikes. Richie will be followed by Cy Stevens in the Wildcat lineup. Wildcats put 2 on the board in the third. Bobcats had a scoring opportunity in the bottom half of that inning with 2 outs, but failed to score. Ferreira back in, ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Wessel checks Noah Wood back at second. The pitch, down low, ball 3. Wessel working himself into a little bit of trouble, and I see some activity starting in the central dugout. They're going to send somebody, look like number 5, to start warming up, and number 19 is out there with them as well. 3 balls and no strikes, nobody out here in the fourth inning, and a 2-0 ball game. Wessel comes to the plate. That's called a strike. Richie almost threw the bat away. That's not a good way to win friends with the umpire behind the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. Lefty versus lefty. Izzy takes his lead off of first. Noah off of second. Richie calls timeout and steps out of the box. Three balls, 1 strike. Wessel checks the runner at second and throws back that way, and Noah hadn't gone far off the bag. He is a freshman, though. Played a lot of more defense for the Wildcats this year at second. Hasn't had many plate appearances. Now, conversation about to take place between Jack Good, and Cole Wessel. Conversation between Travis Free and Richie Ferreira. Wildcats with 2 on, nobody out in this winner's bracket ball game between 2 old foes in every sport, basically. The football rivalry dates back all the way to the 1940s. And not in my day. You heard when I was born. This gentleman will be mad too. To my left. 3 balls and 1 strike. We were not in the 40s. As the pitch hit foul over towards the central dugout, and Wessel has worked the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You're exactly right. There was no jitterbug. He doesn't even know what the jitterbug is. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Richie Ferreira, Jr., sporting the number 12, bats from the left side. Primarily an outfielder. Pitched once this year. It didn't go well for him. 3-2 pitch. That's ball 4. So the Wildcats have loaded the bases with nobody out here in the 4th, and the batter will be Cy Stevens. Cy flew out to center in the 2nd inning. And now we're going to have a visit once again. And slow walk as they have a right-handed pitcher warming up down to our right, down in their bullpen. Will Maddox, assistant coach, wandering over towards the home plate area, and he and Cy going to have a conversation with Travis Free. Wildcats, this is the lower part of the order. This is the number 7 hitter, but the Wildcats have the bases loaded. They had back-to-back singles, Peyton Witter and Parker Free, and then just now a walk to Richie Ferreira. Cy Stevens, who has power. We've seen him hit several home runs this year. Struggled, I said, at the plate against Powell, but very capable. Right-handed hitter. Transferred from Hardin Valley Academy to play for the Wildcats. Bases full of Wildcats. The infield is in at first. Wessel, the pitch to the plate. Outside. Man, he's called it all day. Like I said, it's consistent, but that is definitely not a strike. But he has called it all day. 1 strike the count. Cy will be followed by Kyron Welch in the Wildcat lineup. Golden opportunity for the Wildcats. Cy back in, no balls and 1 strike. 2-0 Oak Ridge. We're in the 4th. Pitch. That's a ball. And that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wildcats with 4 hits in the ball game. Bobcats have 2. Wessel comes to the plate. Cut on a missed. Cy behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's gotten a little sunnier out as I look at the fans to our right outside this press box. If you're wondering if there's a crowd here, there is. We're in an enclosed box. There is a crowd. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wildcats with the bases loaded. The pitch hit foul. Got a piece of it and stayed alive, and the count remains at 1-2. Freshman Noah Wood is the base runner at 3rd. Senior Izzy Mitchell is at 2nd. And junior Richie Ferreira is the base runner at 1st for the Wildcats. Junior Cy Stevens, the batter. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. 1-2 pitch. Outside, a ball. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I was about to say that even that umpire is not going to call that a strike. He calls everything else pretty far out on the box. Got to be aware of that. And he's been consistent, as I've said several times. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch. That's way inside. Wessel now has a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Cy Stevens. He doesn't want to walk or run, obviously, in. Cy back in, sporting those kind of orangey pink cleats as he bats for the Wildcats here in the 4th inning. And the pitch to him, that's ball 4, and the Wildcats have another run. That's a bases loaded walk and an RBI for Cy Stevens. And Oak Ridge now leads the Bobcats 3-0. In to score, Noah Wood. And the inning continues. And that'll be it for Cole Wessel. Cole will be replaced. Second mound visit of the inning. We'll have a new pitcher. Gives me the opportunity to let you know the annual Lawrence Hahn Golf Classic is coming up on June the 8th at the beautiful Oak Ridge Country Club. This event raises money to benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Oak Ridge. Team spots are filling up quickly. There is still time to register. If you or your business would like to help sponsor this event, there's still time to do so. If you're interested in playing or helping sponsor, please call 865 482 4433 or email eweb@bgccy.org. We are live at Carson Newman College. We appreciate Jared Mullins of Mullins Construction Company. He paid the rights fee for our broadcast today. The TSSAA, well, I was about to say something derogatory about them, but they take $250 per game anytime we stream a ball game in a tournament situation. And the last 3 games we've been able to broadcast with East Tennessee Spine and Sport sponsoring the Campbell County game. Donnie Sharp, former Wildcat pitcher, East Tennessee State Buccaneer as well. He pitched for them. And then the Powell ball game was sponsored by Lynn Hart, who also played baseball for Oak Ridge, and Jared Mullins, a former Wildcat baseball player. He and his dad owned Mullins Construction Company, a big supporter of the Wildcats, and we appreciate them paying our rights fee. I'm going to turn my mic off here. We'll be back. The Wildcats with a 3-0 lead and the bases loaded and nobody out. And we'll be back to Carson Newman in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman, the District 3 baseball tournament. We were originally scheduled to play at Tommy Shumpert Park, Central's home field, but rain overnight kind of dampened those thoughts, and the move was made to move up to Carson Newman, where we played last year's regional tournament for the same reasons because of rain. Wildcats, Kyron Welch steps in. Kyron grounded out to short his first time. He's 0 for 1 in the ballgame. Bases loaded. A run in for the Wildcats. The pitch to the plate is inside. Martha and Tommy Lee watching our broadcast as well. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch. Hit on the ground over the pitcher's head. That's going to get another run in. They're going to have an out at first, but in to score comes Izzy Mitchell, run number 4, and the Wildcats lead the Bobcats now 4-0. Give an RBI to Kyron Welch, and the Wildcats will have still 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out now. And the batter will be Warren East. Warren got the Wildcats scoring underway with a home run to left. His last plate appearance, he bats with 2 runners in scoring position, 2 runs in a 4-0 ball game. Pitch to Warren, outside. Donnie Sharp just texted me. He's watching the ball game. He just said that outside corner is a Greg Maddox pitch all day, and I would agree with him. The one that's being called by the umpire. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch to Warren, cut on a missed. Count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Richie Ferreira is the base runner at third. Out at second is Cy Stevens. So you have average speed on the base paths. 1 ball, 1 strike. Caden Black is on deck for Oak Ridge. The freshman steps back in. Quick throw to third, and Richie back to the bag with ease. The righty looks in for the sign, and the pitch is a ball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Cy Stevens had an RBI walk to get the first run in this inning. Also, Kyron Welch with his ground out played it a run. It's been a long inning. Pitch to Warren. Hit well again. Deep to left, but not as deep. Back to the fence. It's caught. Tag. He dropped it. They're going to say, is it on the transfer or is it safe? He said safe. He just dropped it. And the Wildcats play 2 runs, I believe. Let's see. No, actually staying at second. Of course, wisely with Cy Stevens. The ball was in the sun. The sun is bearing down on him. It was all the way back to the warning track, and the Wildcats have another run. We'll give an RBI to him because he probably would have scored, but that is an error on the left fielder. So the Wildcats have runners at first and second now. 3 runs in. The Wildcats on top now 5-0, and Caden Black will be the batter. Caden had a big triple and scored 2 runs against Powell, and he steps in and takes one low. Tough play for the tough play for the left fielder. It looked like he had it all the way, but just popped out of his glove. Caden back in. He walked and stole a base his last time. Came in to score a run for the Wildcats. He wanted to swing, couldn't pull the trigger, and it's a strike, and the count is 1-1. Caden back in. The 1-1 pitch to him. Hit well, but foul. Well foul. And the count is now 1-2. Andrew Bivens, the new pitcher for the Bobcats. I failed to mention that earlier. Caden behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 3 in. The Wildcats on top of the Bobcats now 5-0. District tournament action here at Carson Newman. Wind blowing slightly from right to left. Caden back in. The pitch to him. Hit well in the right field. That's a base hit for Caden Black. Here comes Cy Stevens. He gets the stop sign. And that's wise, as he probably would have been gunned down. The Wildcats have the bases loaded again. Good solid single for Black. I mentioned Cy with just average speed. He would have been gunned at the plate if he had attempted to try to score. And the batter now will be Cam Welch. Cam is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Had a strikeout. It was a strikeout victim in the first, and also popped out to the third baseman Andrew Hill. We're in the 4th inning, 5-0 Wildcats. Oak Ridge trying to get more in the 4th. Mikey Teasley's on deck. There's only 1 out. The pitch, cut on, I missed. Cam back in. Runner at first is Caden Black. Pitch to Cam, cut on, and missed again. And the count is 0-2. Warren East, the base runner at second. Over at third, Cy Stevens. Cam coming off of a 4 RBI game against Powell. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. That's outside. The count is 1-2. Oak Ridge has put 3 on the board here in the 4th to take a 5-0 lead. The Wildcats scoring 2 runs in the 3rd, 3 here in the 4th. And they're batting still with the bases loaded. Sophomore back in. The pitch to him. That's eludes the catcher. And here comes Cy. Here comes the throw. He is safe. And the Wildcats have another run. And it's 6-0 Oak Ridge. That one, the wild pitch over the catcher Goods mitt. Ball bounced back to him, but Cy was able to score, and everybody else moves up, and the Wildcats have yet another run. As Stevens comes in to score, it is now 6-0 Oak Ridge, still batting with 2 runners in scoring position. The winner of this game advances to the championship ball game and the regional tournament. So it's a big game for both schools. The pitch, cut on and missed. And Cam goes down for the second time. It'll be up to Mikey Teasley if the Wildcats are to do any more damage here in the fourth. They've scored 4, and Mikey will step in. Mikey had a single and an RBI. His last plate appearance also flew out to center field. The Wildcats now with good speed on the base paths with Warren East at third and Caden Black down to second. They're going to intentionally walk Mikey to get to Peyton Witter, who had a single his last plate appearance. He's walked twice. He's been on base both times. Peyton steps in, bases loaded for the third time in the ball game this inning. 6-0 Oak Ridge. Bivens comes to the plate. That hit him, and there's another run. The Wildcats have scored their 7th run of the ball game. The intentional walk, you've got to have control. If you're going to load the bases, you've got to have control, and that's an RBI for Peyton Witter, hit by a pitch. And the Wildcats now lead Central 7-0 here in the fourth inning. And the bases remain loaded, and here comes Parker Free. Parker had a single his last plate appearance, and also flew out to left field. 7 runs for the Wildcats, 5 this inning. This is not an elimination ball game for either, but an important game, obviously. The winner goes to the regional tournament and won't have to play until Monday, while the others will have to play on Sunday. Pitch to Parker. There's a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Andrew Bivens, the second pitcher used for the Bobcats. The Wildcats have gone all the way with Alex Franklin. 5 runs in. A lot of baseball to be played. Parker, the pitch to him, cut on and fouled at the plate, and the count is 0-2. This inning started with the single by Peyton Witter. He's been on base twice this inning with the 5 runs scored. Parker, his second plate appearance this inning. Pitch to him, hit in the air, center field, and deep, over his head. He's not going to get it. It's going to roll to the wall. 1 run in, 2 runs in. The Wildcats clear the bases with a long fly ball by Parker Free, clearing the bases. 4, actually now 9 runs this inning, I believe. Well, let me do my math here. 7, 8. And the Wildcats are on top with Parker being replaced by Izzy Mitchell. A bases clearing hit by Parker Free, and the Wildcats lead it now 10-0 over the Central Bobcats here in the fourth inning. Here comes the base runner running. He's going to be gunned out. I never really understand why you're just as good at second as you are at third, but that is a caught stealing. But a very productive inning for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. The Wildcats score 8 runs in the fourth inning to lead it now by a score of 10-0 over Central. And we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman University. The Wildcats with a huge 8-run fourth inning to take the lead now over the Bobcats 10-0. And Alex Franklin is back out on the hill for the Wildcats. And he'll be facing the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Bobcat lineup. Andrew Hill, Drew Shaver, and Miles Johnson. Pitch from Alex is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Hill hits the ball to left center field. Warren East, the freshman on the warning track, makes the catch for out number 1. Hill is retired. Now the right fielder, Drew Shaver. He grounded out, actually popped out to the shortstop. It was actually a line drive to Caden Black at short. His first plate appearance, 10-0 Wildcats. A huge, huge hit by Parker Free. The freshman cleared the bases. The Wildcats, just a big inning, eight runs. And Alex Franklin's pitch is a called strike. Breaking pitch on the outside half of the plate, and the count is 0-2. Miles Johnson, the left fielder, is on deck for the Bobcats. Central, the defending tournament champions. That ball is hit in the air on the infield. It looks like it's going to be Caden Black who makes the catch, and it is, and that is out number 2 here in the 4th inning. Second time that Shaver's been retired by Black, and the batter will be the left fielder, Miles Johnson. He grounded out to Alex Franklin back in the 2nd inning. Actually, we got a new batter. Thank you for that. As he steps in, Chris Peters is the batter, batting for Johnson. Alex Franklin, going all the way for the Wildcats, has given up only 2 hits. They came the previous inning. And that pitch is a called strike on the outside half of the plate. We appreciate Jared Mullins with Mullins Construction Company, former Wildcat player. Paid our rights fee to be able to stream this ball game live to you from Carson Newman. Pitch is hit foul back to the screen, and the count is 0-2. The importance of this game, obviously, you want to play for a championship. That's the reason you play sports. And the winner of this game plays Monday for the championship, but more importantly, you're automatically in the regional tournament. Last year, Oak Ridge and Central battled in the championship ball game, with Central winning it 2-0. The Wildcats lost to the Bobcats both times they played last year. Oak Ridge had victories over Carnes and Powell last year at the tournament, but lost to Central both times. That pitch is a called ball, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Almost grazed him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alex Franklin, off of shoulder surgery, pitching well for the Wildcats today. And the pitch, that's outside and high. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. 10-0 Wildcats. The pitch, cut on a missed. He drops the 3rd strike, but he tags him out. You can't run out of the baselines there, and the catcher and the Bobcat have a smile together. That is a strikeout, and that is strikeout number 3 for Alex Franklin. The Bobcats go in order in the 4th inning. We go to the top of the 5th inning. The Wildcats on top of the Bobcats, 10-0. And we'll be back to Carson Newman excuse me, in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman. The Wildcats on top by a score of 10-0. It'll be Richie Ferreira leading things off for the Wildcats. Richie walked and scored a run. He'll be followed by Cy Stevens, then Kyron Welch. Top of the fifth, 10-0 Wildcats. The pitch to Richie is down low, a ball. Richie back in, batting from the left side. Bivens working from the stretch. Richie gets tired and steps out. Last time we were up here, we were playing Hardin Valley and Farragut in the regional tournament, and both of those teams eventually played for the state championship. As that pitch is on the inside corner, at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 1-1 strike. The Halls team has kind of moved out of the seating area. They'll be playing, I believe, immediately following this, I guess. 1-1 strike. Richie back in. The pitch to him. That's low and inside. 2-1 strike. Central comes in at 22-9 on the year. The Wildcats 21-12-1. Sean, let me give you a trivia question. Who was the one against? Do you remember? Who was the tie? Shouldn't have ties in baseball. We had a tie. As the pitch comes in, hits the center field. Solid base hit for Richie. Good job of hitting by Richie. Good to see him swing the bat well. It's the first game of the year for the Wildcats. The very first game of the year. Started raining in extra innings. I think it was the 8th. And Sean's thinking it was Gibbs. Correct. It was Gibbs. Wildcats have another base runner. Good start to the 5th inning. Of course, the Wildcats 3 outs away from a victory, but they would like to tack a few more on. Right-handed hitter. Pitch to Kai is a called strike. Kai Welch, let's see. He had an RBI ground out. Oh, actually, Cy. Sorry, my apologies. Cy had a bases loaded walk and an RBI and scored a run. Kai is on deck. Bivens checks the runner at first. Richie has a way to annoy just about anybody, and he annoyed Bivens that time. Only the inside people of the baseball program can understand that. Pitch to Cy is a called strike, and the count is 0-2. My apologies, Bivens, or actually Ferreira family, but you know what I'm talking about. No balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Wildcats on top 10-0 in this District 3 tournament game. Richie not going. The pitch, pretty good pitch. A little bit high. And the count is now 1-2 strikes. A pretty good pitch by Bivens. Didn't get the call. 1-2 strikes. Richie takes a bigger lead off of first. Wildcats have had a couple base runners gunned down today. Richie's being Richie at first. The pitch. Cy swings and he misses, and he struck him out. That is the first out. In the 5th, the batter now will be finally Kyron Welch. He had an RBI ground out. Wildcats have had RBIs in this ball game from, looks like, I guess, Caden Black. Wildcats have also had them from, let's see, Richie Ferreira, Cy Stevens, Kyron Welch, and Warren East. Wildcats hit the ball well. Control is a little problem for Wessel at times. The Wildcats not going. That pitch is, he's called that a strike all night. And the pitch is low, I guess. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Kyron Welch. Warren East is on deck. Just tuned in. Warren hit a home run, the freshman, his 4th home run of the year. And that got the Wildcats scoring going in the 3rd inning when the Wildcats put 2 on the board. Here's a throw, and Richie's back to the bag. They scored 8 times in the 4th inning. Batted around. More activity in the central bullpen to our left. Looks like number 7 warming up for the Bobcats. Thank you, Visham, with the better, younger eyes. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Throw over, and they got him. Wildcats, Richie's going to be barring a bad throw, and there it is. Actually, Richie probably could have gone back to first because he wasn't aware that he's going to get the tag in, and he is out. And that is the second out of the inning. And Richie, I think if Richie had continued on the first, the throw was wide of the bag, and the first baseman made a great play just to kind of hold it. But Richie had already retreated back towards second, but he's picked off, and that is the second out in the fifth inning. And the batter, Kyron Welch, will step in again. Bivens comes to the plate. Breaking pitch fouled off the catcher, and the count is one strike on at least on Kyron. 2 outs, nobody aboard. In the bottom of the fifth inning, the Bobcats will have Good, Myers, and Wessel, the scheduled hitters, in the lineup. The Beavers are back in town as I see them rolling in to our left. They'll be playing Halls immediately following this game. Pitch. There's a called strike. And the count on the scoreboard is 0-2. Good to have you watching our broadcast. I know we've gotten several names called today of people watching. Always enjoy hearing where you're watching from. We'll check the chat in a moment. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kyron. Senior back in. The pitch to him hits him. And Kyron's going to head down to first with a 2-out hit by pitch. The batter will be Warren East. Warren, let's see. He's had a good game today. He has 2 RBIs, including a home run. He was the guy who hit the ball to left field, and the ball was dropped, which resulted in 1 run scoring. I think he would have scored anyway on a tag up, but that kind of opened the door, kept the door open for the Wildcats to score as many runs as they did last inning. The pitch is a breaking pitch, stays up high to him, and the freshman ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Anita and Doug Greenlee also watching our broadcast today. Thank you. 1 ball, no strikes. Kyron takes his lead off of first. The Wildcats have had a few base running mistakes. I can tell you, if the Wildcats hold on and win this ball game, Coach Free, what he's going to talk about is excited for the win, but first thing he'll talk about is having his base runners cut down on the base pass. That's just a no-no with him. That's one of his pet peeves. He'll be happy about the win if they hold on, but that's what he's going to talk about. Pitch cut on and missed, and a delayed steal by Kyron, and he's in with a stolen base. I don't know if it was delayed or if he tripped out of the box. Either way, he's in scoring position with 2 outs and a 1 ball, 1 strike count on Warren East. Caden Black is on deck for Oak Ridge. Bivens wants to get Warren. It's 2 outs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Warren, a good solid hitter. I've told this many times during the course of this year. I'll talk about this after the pitch. The 1-1 pitch is a breaking pitch in there for a called strike. He hasn't called the inside corner much, but he does there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's not big, but he's got some really big legs, and that's basically where your power comes from. And I think that's where it comes from for Warren to hit 4 home runs at his size. He's only about 5'8". 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Oh boy. That's a strike. It was a delayed call on the umpire, and I was about to say if he didn't call that one, there was something wrong. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Wildcats 3 outs away from the region baseball tournament for the 2nd consecutive year. Oak Ridge leads the Bobcats 10-0 as we broadcast live from Carson Newman. The winner of this game will play for the district championship, and that'll be Monday. And that game, the first game, could have to play twice. The losers bracket team has to win twice to win the championship. The team coming out of the upper bracket, which is the winners bracket, only has to win 1. of these. And I've heard Coach Free say the last several days, the key to this week is win 3 ball games, and that's what the Wildcats are trying to do tonight. As Alex Franklin is back out on the hill. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back for the bottom of the 5th, 10-0 Wildcats. Back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman University, the side of this ball game. The Wildcats taking on Central Bobcats. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and they have a pinch hitter in the ball game facing Alex Franklin. The Wildcats need 3 outs and a victory. They'll achieve, and they'll head to the region, and they'll head to the district championship game. Coach Free has really done a great job turning this baseball program around. Back in the 90s, the Wildcats had good teams under Nelson Glover. The Wildcats have had some good teams with Coach Tom Froning when he was the head coach, as that ball is hit foul off to the right. A couple district championships during that time, a couple regional appearances, but this will be the first time in a long time the Wildcats have won back-to-back, getting a chance to play in the district championship back-to-back times. And he's done a really good job getting the program back to where I know a lot of guys like who have sponsored our broadcast, and like Donnie Sharp and Lynn Hart and Jared Mullins would like it to be. 0-2 pitch, cut on and hit foul over towards the central dugout, and the count remains at 0-2. Sean Knowles is doing our technical work. Sean will be playing football at East Tennessee State, signed a scholarship. He's doing my work with me to my left. Congratulations once again there, Vashon. Always good to have you on the crew. We'll miss you next year. I will. Not much. There's a swinging strike, and he doesn't throw him out. He doesn't have to as he heads back to the bag, and that is out number 1. So the Wildcats 2 outs away from the region baseball tournament, leading 10-0 over Central. Right-handed hitter. Alex Franklin has given up only 2 hits to this point. This game is such a different game from the 2 previous games that the 2 teams played. The Wildcats won in a walk-off by Camden Welch, 5-4 at Oak Ridge, and Central won 3-2 at Central. So we've had 2, 1-run games prior to this one, but the Wildcats came out with their bats hot, still smoking from the Powell ball game the other day and the Campbell County ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking pitch stays up high. The count is 2-1. Central, the regular season district champions. Tournament champions a year ago. 2-1 pitch. Inside corner for a called strike. Alex has just been kind of like workmanlike. As I said, he hasn't had a whole lot of starts this year. I was honestly surprised he started this ball game, to be honest with you, but he has pitched well. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch. Outside, but not a strike. Parker held it there. That's been a strike all day, but it's getting late in the ball game. And the umpire, that was definitely a ball. I mean, that was a ball. 3-2 pitch. Hit foul. Back our way. Off the netting, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Halls and Carnes will be playing immediately following this game. But Sean, I don't think we're staying to watch it, are we? No. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the pitch. Hit in the air, right side, foul territory. Parker over, Cam Welch makes the catch for out number 2. So the Wildcats 1 out away from the Region 2 baseball tournament. Up 10-0. And Dylan Bowser is the batter, the last hope for the Bobcats. Central and Oak Ridge, as I mentioned, they've been playing sports against one another since the 40s. A lot of big ball games in football. The 1991 semifinal football game was a big one with Todd Helton for Central and Sean Summers for Oak Ridge. Those were the big stars back then. Todd Helton won Mr. Football that year, but the Wildcats won the state football championship. And it was two great games against Central that year. 1-0 pitch, outside corner for a called strike, and the count is even at 1-1 strike. 10-0 Wildcats. The Wildcats 1 out away from the district championship ball game. And here's a foul ball hitting to the right side. That's going to do it. Cam Welch has got it, and the Wildcats win. And the Wildcats are celebrating. They will head to the Monday District 3 championship ball game. And for the second consecutive year, the Wildcats will play in the Region 2 baseball tournament. The Wildcats, who finished third in the regular season, like Central did a year ago. Central was the third seed last year, went all the way and won the district championship at the tournament last year. The Wildcats have repeated the same as the Wildcats win an opportunity to go and win a championship on Monday. The two teams shaking hands. The Wildcats victorious by a final score of 10-0 here from Carson Newman College. We'll have a post-game show coming up in a bit. We'll have player interviews. We'll also interview the head coach of the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. Final score from Carson Newman on this victorious Saturday. The Wildcats knock off the Bobcats by a final score of 10-0 in 5 innings. We'll be back with the totals and highlights in our post-game show in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman University, where the Wildcats have just knocked off the Central Bobcats by a score of 10-0. Looking at some of the totals for the ball game, Caden Black in the ball game walked, scored a run, had a base hit, scored a couple runs, and scored a run. Mikey Teasley had an RBI, a single, and a walk. Peyton Witter had an RBI on the bases loaded, being hit by a pitch. He also had a single in the ball game. Noah Wood scored a run for the Wildcats as a courtesy runner. Parker Free with a bases clearing double, scoring 3 runs. He had a single and a double in the ball game. Izzy Mitchell scored a run in the ball game today. Richie Ferreira also had an RBI and a walk. Cy Stevens with an RBI bases loaded walk. He also scored a run in the ball game. Kyron Welch had an RBI, was hit by a pitch, had a stolen base. Warren East hit a home run for the Wildcats, had 2 RBIs, and Alex Franklin pitches a 2-hit shutout, 5-inning win for the Wildcats over the Central Bobcats. The final score of the ballgame, Oak Ridge wins it by a score of 10-0. We'll get some player interviews coming up here in a second. I don't know exactly how we'll do that in the in this press box. We might have to maybe do it behind us, perhaps. We'll figure out a way, but the Wildcats do win the ball game. Final score 10-0. Coach Free and some players will be up to speak to me in a moment. We're live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Oak Ridge wins it 10-0, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Carson Newman University, and joining me, freshman catcher for the Wildcats, Parker Free. Parker had a bases clearing double to kind of spark that eight-run inning. Parker, let's talk about it. First off, let's talk about winning and how important it is to get back to the region tournament for the second consecutive year.
Yeah, we got some unfinished business for the boys last year, man. There's people that still on the team now. All credit to them. But we got unfinished business. Now we got to go win a district championship and then make it to and then win through the regionals.
Not on the team last year, obviously. You're only a freshman, but you started every ball game this year. This team is, finished third in the regular season, and I think your dad, or Coach Free, told me that last year it was Central who was the third place team, advanced all the way and won the championship. I guess your schedule. Talk about how tough the schedule was and how it kind of got you ready for a situation like this.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the toughest schedules that we put through all season. And we just wanted to prepare ourselves going on the road all the time so that we could get to this spot we are here at Carson Newman and just play our best ball.
One thing I've always wanted to ask you, I wanted to ask you in football season, but playing for your dad, what's that like?
I mean, there's some ups and downs to it. Sometimes it kind of gets in my head a little bit, but I just got to play the game, man. And he's just my love and support all times.
Does he treat you any different from any of the other players?
No, sir. He's maybe even a little harder on me
That's
than
typically
other
what
guys.
coaches' sons typically say. Well, let's talk about that bases clearing double. You hit the ball to dead center field, and the center fielder went back on it, just went over his head. Talk about that one.
I mean, I just had my approach, but props to the guys getting on base because without them on base, it wouldn't have been a bases clearing double.
So you're in the region, you're in the district tournament championship game first and foremost. You could play this same Central team again. You could play Pal, you could play Halls and Carnes. So there are a lot of opportunities. How important is it to win the championship this year?
It's really important to our guys here, especially the ones that are coming back from last year. Like I said, I mean, they had some unfinished business last year. Central put them out, but now we got to come back and we're going to win it for them.
Parker, appreciate it. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's Parker Free. Let's see who's next here. Looks like it's going to be Warren East. Warren, Home run again. Let me get you. What number is that? 4 for you this year? 3, 4? Yeah, 3. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. I asked he had his mic off, but right up to your mouth there. Third home run of the year for you. Got the scoring, and I didn't ask Parker, but I should have kind of eased the tension because both Alex and Cole were pitching really well.
Yeah.
I mean, they hadn't given up anything. You broke the scoring drought with a home run. Talk about that hit.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking. I was just hit the ball, hit a line drive.
You know, you're not very big, and I say that all the time on the broadcast, but you've got your legs are big, and power comes from your legs. And you're
Yeah.
also fast. Talk about how important that inning was where you scored 8 runs. It kind of relieved the tension, it would appear.
I mean, Coach Reed's been saying it. Don't let up. I mean, we've had multiple games where it's been an inning difference where we've thrown an inning away and the game's over. So we just pedal to the metal and not let up.
So in this semifinal round game, the first 2 guys I've interviewed here are freshmen. So obviously you've got a lot of baseball in front of you. Nervous? Are you over the nervous part of it?
No, I'm way over the nerve.
Where
I just want to win.
you've played a lot of ball here. The Central team, you split with them, and both games were very close. The first 2, I think the first one was like a walk-off win by Camden, I think, and then it was a 3-2 ball game. This one was a totally different. Feels a little bit more relaxing when you're way up. Talk about how important it is to be in that championship game on Monday.
It means everything. I mean, like Parker was saying, we have these older kids, these seniors on the team. Everyone on the team from last year, they didn't win it last year, and we're coming for it this year.
I know Central is a rival, but I could tell there was a little more jump pop in your all step against Powell. Obviously, you don't care about who you play, obviously, on Monday, but it seemed like you all were really motivated in that Powell game. Talk about that game.
We wanted to get it back for Mikey. I mean, did we even beat them once? We didn't beat
No,
them
you
once.
got swept by them.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to get it for Mikey. Like he transferred here, we got all of our get backs. We beat Bearden, we beat Clinton for Cam. Who else?
You didn't beat Hardin Valley yet, though.
We haven't beaten Hardin Valley yet. We still have them, but we wanted to get it back for Mikey.
Well, Warren, I appreciate it, and good luck, and congratulations on another home run.
Thank you.
Let's get our next guy in here, and it's Alex Franklin. Alex, congratulations, a 2-hit shutout today. Talk about your game today and what was working for you.
I mean, fastball was working. I was hitting my spots on that, and then slider was moving a lot, and I was able to get it out on the edge of the plate. And then changeup, I was locating that as well. I had my whole arsenal today.
Let's go back to last year, late in the year. You throw that pitch that goes about 400 feet in the air, and your shoulder was all messed up. You had to have off-season surgery. Here you are pitching in a really big ball game, not an elimination ball game, but a game that's going to decide whether you go to the district championship game in the region. And how important and how gratifying and satisfying is it for you to be on the guy on the mound after your injury and your off-season work to get back into shape to ready to pitch?
Well, I mean, it feels great to get out here and be able to pitch the way I did today. I mean, my shoulder felt great, but I mean, really, it's not as much about that as it is like we come out here and we lost to Central last year, losing the district to them, and we came out here, put up runs, and I mean, if it wasn't for the run support we had, I don't think I would have been pitching that well.
You got, I was talking to Warren there. I think it kind of relaxed everybody because you had kind of retired everybody in order. Cole had done the same for the Central Bobcats. Then Warren hits the home run. It seemed like everybody kind of seemed to relax after that. How important was that?
Oh, it was very important. I mean, one thing Coach Free and all of us kind of try and preach is stay relaxed and stay in the moment. And at the start of the game, we were really tense and still trying to we were making it a bigger game than what it is. And Warren hits that home run, and I mean that really just blew it open for us. We got relaxed. We realized that we can beat this team, and I mean it was really a big turn and gave us the momentum we needed.
You're one of the few seniors actually that gets a chance to play a lot. It's a very young team. The first 2 guys I talked to were freshmen. How important is it for your senior class to get back to the region and a title opportunity on Monday?
Well, I mean, it's great. I mean, we had a chance last year, and we all kind of got heartbroken by how our season ended, how it ended with us not getting a district title, and then we ended up coming out to the regions and just not doing well. And I think this is really big for not even just the senior class, but the people that came in and transferred in here. I mean, this is one of the biggest achievements that our team as a whole has achieved in a long time.
Alex, I appreciate. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Alex Franklin. Here comes Coach Travis Free, head coach of the Wildcats, and Coach, a long drive to come up here, but very worth it to come up here. Talk about your team's win tonight.
Well, Alex Franklin, who you just talked to, just an absolute fabulous performance for him. You know, I don't know what Coach Ball, Coach Maddox, and I all said yesterday at practice, like, we're going Alex tomorrow. And we just kind of felt that way. You know, Mikey coming back, just trying to start to get his shoulder back and starting to feel good and starting to get there. But, like, Alex is the perfect matchup. It's the perfect matchup for what we needed and what the scout report said and how to do it. And he executed to perfection today. He was fabulous. I mean, just – and a great team performance, too. I mean, just think about the big plays we made. We finally settled in on offense. We started to get hits. We started to move the run. We just played, and then we played flawless on defense once again. Like, just perfect defensive execution. I think they had one hit on a 3-1 fastball that Alex kind of let up a little bit, and once again, another freshman got a hit in that moment. So that's pretty cool to see three freshmen have three huge hits in the game.
Yeah, one of the best parts of Alex's game, when he did have some trouble, when they had second and third, he got maybe a one pitch out to the outfield, so right. He got out of trouble without problem.
Well, he's a veteran too. He's been through it. I mean, you think about it, Alex's pitched a huge number of innings for us. He's been in those moments before. He's always been able to execute. He's pitched in big game after big game for us, and it was a great matchup there because Central had never seen him before. So it was just a great opportunity to do that, and it's just. Man, he's got the hot hand sometimes, and so he was ready to go. And you knew the moment wasn't going to get too big for him. He said that. It is a big moment. It's a big moment for Oak Ridge. And, David, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't go back in history as long as I know that we've been to back-to-back regions in a long, long, long time that I can remember, probably in the 70s, right?
Probably
because I know McKeithen was telling me that they went twice in the 90s, but that was in 3 years every other. So back-to-back region berths is huge for our program and just huge for the future of where we're going.
Well, let's talk about let me go back to what you said about why you decided. What was the thought process on Alex? Just because to keep Mikey healthy for anything?
Well, Mikey, I made him crank it up yesterday and prove that he was ready to go, number one. So he's ready. He'll pitch Monday. All right, he's ready to go there. But really, the scouting report says that we needed to go that route just based on what the skill set and the pitch sequence and the pitch things that Alex is able to possess based on what I thought their lineup was. So it was a perfect matchup. Like, it was a perfect matchup. And I just felt like, give Mikey one more day. Give him one more day. Let's make sure that he's ready. And then, now it's time to crank it up and get us all set and ready to roll for next weekend for sure.
So let's talk about Monday. I know you don't care. It could be the same Central team. It could be Powell, could be Halls, could be Carnes, could be any of these guys. And I guess it doesn't matter. The big difference is that you're going to the region.
That's right.
That's the key. Win or lose Monday, you are going to the region tournament.
That's right.
And get a chance to, I guess it's maybe District 4's turn to host.
It is. It'll be a District 4. So right now, Farragut's sitting in the same spot as we are, undefeated in the winners bracket. So both of us are in that spot. So, like, right now, it looks like it's going towards Farragut, but you never know what's going to happen at that point.
Yeah, and that would be Friday and Saturday.
Saturday.
But the district championship game is Monday
night
at Tommy Shumpert Park. Mikey's going to go.
Yep.
Let's talk about your offense today too. Before I know they've got another game to go here, and I want to. My friends from Central have been so patient with me all day here. So, talk about your offense today. I mean, that one inning, an 8-run inning.
Yep.
Just phenomenal. I mean, you not only some really good at bats, some good hits, obviously. Your son Parker had that bases clearing double, but some good at bats. You had some 0-2 counts, I think, on some batters. He ended up walking.
Yeah,
it was.
We really got to him in that inning because we grinded out at bats in the second inning. We didn't get any traction there, but we made him throw almost 25 pitches. And then we came out and started to get some pressure, and then the pitch count started to get up, so he started to labor. You could tell that he was kind of breathing a little heavier, like you could tell that he was starting to get tired, which then in that point we were able to then execute in the third because of the second. is what I believe, because he was kind of laboring a little bit. You could tell that he didn't feel his best. He was starting to get tired. So that was a testament to our guys in that second inning when Peyton had a great at bat to lead off the inning. I think Parker grinded out like a 7-pitch at bat right there. It didn't turn into a hit, I don't think. And then all those things started to happen, and then we were able to get to him with some execution. You think about it, leadoff single, slash play that Parker gets a hit, then all of a sudden we're rolling a little bit. Richie has a phenomenal at bat right there and goes like 7 or 8 pitches off of him, gets a walk. Then Cy gets a walk, and so all of a sudden, all that labor in the second and third, it paid off for us, and we were able to execute and get some hits at that point.
And then great pitching by Alex Franklin,
Oh,
and that's
absolutely.
that's the formula for a 10-0 win.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he filled the strike zone up. I don't think any walks, 0 walks,
No, 0
1
walks.
hit.
Yeah,
0 walks, 1 hit. That is it.
and you win the ball game.
That's right. So that's what it's all about. That's the winning formula. If we could keep that going for a while, it'd be great.
What time is the game on Monday?
5:30 will be the start time Monday. All the district stuff starts at 5 o'clock before the game, and then we'll go from there.
Coach, congratulations on the win, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, roll Wildcats.
And we appreciate Jared Mullins too.
Oh yes, thank you to the whole Mullins crew for supporting today's game.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. It's Coach Travis Free. The Wildcats victorious by a final score of 10-0. That about does it here from Carson Newman University. We appreciate Bashan coming up here and doing technical work, and Jeff too. Thanks for the camera work.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
That's Jeff Ulrich. He did camera work for me. John has done it before. Actually, this is the second Central ball game you've done camera work for me. You did Central football camera work as well. So final score of the ball game here from Carson Newman. The Wildcats knock off the Bobcats 10-0. For Vashon, until Monday when the Wildcats play for the District 3 championship. So long, everybody.